It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barren County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. James Brown, John Butler here. John, we got a lot to cover today, honestly, and it really kind of starts with the baseball side of things because we had our local team doubleheader last week. And I tell you, before those games were played, we had discussed the possible outcomes. And the interesting thing to me was I expected two close games is what I expected, not two basically blowouts. But we did get the split. It's just that the two games weren't close, and they weren't close kind of for the same reasons in that in both games the other team, the team that lost kind of found a way to lose the game, not the team that won found a way to win, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was a little unusual. You're right. If you predicted the split, you got a split, and I don't think that was too tough to see. They're both teams very evenly matched, but yeah, it was a little strange. The first game was 9-3, Glasgow, though Barren was ahead 3-0.
Yes.
Okay, it didn't last very long.
No.
But and then the second game it was 8-4 over at Barren, and Barren led that game pretty much wire to wire on that one. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, both teams are very, very, very close, but, the two games were not close, I think it's fair to say.
It was. It reminded me, I think it was the NBA Finals 2014 or 2013, something like that. It was a 7-game series, and every game was a blowout. And so it was like a 7-game series, but it was the most unfulfilling 7-game series in the history of the NBA. That's kind of how those two games were last week. Because you mentioned, Barren was up 3-0 because Glasgow made, I think, 3 errors in the first 2 innings. And then suddenly they caught fire, and Barren struggled to try to get batters out, and Glasgow started hitting the ball in that game. Come back the next day, and Glasgow makes, I think, 2 errors in the first 3 innings or whatever it was, and they're down 4-0. Actually, they ended up down, I think, 8-0 at one point, and then they got all 4 of their runs. And so it was a matter of the two games were just very inconsistent. I think the consistent thing that I did see from the games is if Carter Hodges is on the mound for Glasgow and they don't make errors, they are hard to beat. And Cameron Crawford might fill that same role for Barren County as far as pitching goes.
Or Skylar Potter.
Although he didn't pitch in either one of those games against Glasgow.
He did not. It was a little surprising. Not really sure if a little injury or sickness or whatever, but he's been one of their top 2 pitchers for the last so many years. But he did not pitch. You could very well see him next week against Glasgow. It'll be interesting to see who they go with. There's no doubt who Glasgow's going to go with.
Yeah.
And by the way, we've kind of lead up to in the district tournament next week. It's Barren and Glasgow.
That's right.
In baseball.
But
Carter Hodges is one of the dominant pitchers in the whole region, not just the district. And, against Barren, he went 7 innings in the win and struck out 13. Mm-hmm. And to add to that, he was 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs from the plate. So he had a big time.
He kind of won that game by himself. If you get down to the
and he's
stats.
had several games this year in which he's just pitched shutouts. So he can be a little wild at times. At times he can walk some and get himself in a little bit of trouble that way. But when he's on, he's very, very tough, very effective. He and probably the Vincent kid from Glasgow, from Warren East, are the arguably their stuff can be quite dominant at times.
Yeah. It's interesting going back to the Skylar Potter part because I thought we were going to see Skylar Potter and Cameron Crawford in 2 days.
That's the way it's been in every other district game.
Yeah.
But he may have been under the weather. I think that's possible or whatever.
Yeah, he pitched 2 1/3 innings last week in 4 games, I think it was.
And that was against maybe Franklin. I think he came in. So that's a good time he came back and pitched for Barren. But we'll see. This week that both teams play will be a week in which they will set their pitching for next week because the most important game is going to be next Monday. A double, at Warren East, be Barren and Glasgow. But Glasgow is now 17-16. They're 2-4 in the district. Same as Allen was 2-4, right?
Yep.
But because of the
RPI, I think is what it came down
Glasgow
to.
ends up being the 3rd seed.
Yep.
So that puts them with Barren, and that's probably. I think if you probably ask Glasgow, would you rather play Barren or East? You know, they're close, but with the Vincent-Kins ERA for Warren East under 1.
Yeah, 0.88, I think is what it is.
0.88. It's, you may probably take their chances with Barren. It's in fairness. Glasgow then came back and beat Cumberland 8-5 and lost to Logan at the end of the week 7-5.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I mean, Barren County they're
17-13.
Yeah. And what did they play? 4 games last week as well?
They played 4. They split with Glasgow, beat Russell County 5-2. Colton Wilson got the win in that one. Did not allow a run in 5 innings.
Yeah.
And then lost to Franklin 5-2 at the end of the week.
Yeah. You know, we mentioned Potter and Crawford, but Colton Wilson's been a pretty solid pitcher for him as well. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. Glasgow has probably the best individual starter in Carter Hodges. Barren has 3 guys that I think you can trust, and maybe even 4 with Landon Yules that you can put up there, and I would give them a shot to win with those guys as well. I don't know. It's just that outside of maybe a couple of games where Hodges has had more walks than you would want him to have, I don't know what the separator is otherwise between those guys. I mean, that's obviously the thing about him, but you know.
Glasgow's kind of mixed and matched their second starter.
Yeah.
It's been Keaton Haynes some. It's been some other kids have been in that 2 spot. But when it comes to the district tournament, you don't need a number 2 to get to the region. You just need 1 to get to the region. Now, if you want to win a region, you got to have 3 starters.
Yeah.
But to get to the region, it's just like basketball. You got to win that first game.
Yeah. And going back to the other side of the bracket, so as you mentioned, the games will be played. There'll be a doubleheader at Warren East for the for the district baseball on Monday.
And they're playing both games.
Yep, that's what I understand. And it's maybe 5 and 7:30. I haven't seen the times yet, so I'm not 100% certain what the times are. Usually, the home team goes ahead and plays that early game, so I would project that Barren and
I think it's the 1 versus 4.
Yeah.
Whoever's the first seed will get the first game.
Yeah, which in this case, right, it'll be Warren East and Allen, right?
Right.
So that would put the Barren Glasgow game as the late game on Monday, if they stick to how they usually go about doing that. So that might be like a 7:30 p.m. start, something of that nature. And here's the thing. Despite the fact that Warren East swept Allen County in their district matchups last week, I still don't put Allen County out of the possibility of beating Warren East, even with Vincent on the mound.
I don't. I think they're a heavy favorite just because I don't know if he's given up a run in the district.
I don't think he has.
Right. I mean, if he's on, Allen is going to have to scrap to get it. Allen's going to have to basically shut Warren East down. Then it comes down to walks and, defensive errors and mistakes and so forth. But as long as he's pitching and healthy, he may be the best pitcher in the region.
Yeah. He's certainly I don't know that anybody else has a .88 ERA in the region.
Yep.
What are some other things that maybe stood out to you from high school baseball last week? Anything?
No, I mean, it's just, we're down the stretch right here, and it's last week of the season. It's hard to imagine that. And then, next week it's, you're starting to get into postseason play.
Yeah.
And it looks like the 3 of the top probably 5 teams in the region, arguably 1, 2, 3, are in the Bowling Green district. Bowling Green, South Warren, Greenwood. And probably everywhere else, it's, Russell County's not near as dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, they're actually got a losing record. I think Franklin and Logan are good as usual.
Yeah.
And I think there's, in our district, it's 3 pretty decent teams, and Allen's not bad, But
right.
I still think probably the favorite to come out of the region is going to be out of the Bowling Green district.
Yeah. I didn't realize Bowling Green's like 28-3 or something like that. I mean, they've not lost hardly any games, and I don't know. I don't think they swept the district, did they? They may have split one of their series in the district with Greenwood. I don't remember exactly, but they have been the best team just consistently in the region this year. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to local sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. James Brown, John Butler, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. John, I titled this second segment Rinse and Repeat because Barren County and Glasgow will also play each other in softball next week.
Yeah, it's been a while since that's not been a while in softball.
Yeah.
Because they played each other.
Like the last 3 years or so.
Right, in softball. But it's been a while since both teams, I believe, have played each other. It seems like to me it's been a while. But, it's going to be a doubleheader next week too between the two schools. So, it's there will be one of our schools in baseball and softball moving on.
Yes,
but unfortunately, it's not going to be both of them.
Yeah. My years ago, I think I wrote about this. My grand ambition was for Barren County and Glasgow fans to want to see these two teams play each other, not in the district final, but in the regional final every year in every sport that they pair up in.
Since I've been here, that hadn't happened.
No, it has not. And so it seems, and maybe that's why for fans they usually root, my team or the other team. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, I want all our neighbors to be there for the championship game.
Right.
But anyway, that ain't happening this year, as you pointed out. And it's kind of an interesting situation, I think, in the softball because Barren won the first game 8-2, and then Glasgow came back and won the second game 2-0. And Glasgow, interestingly, Glasgow's played well the last 2 weeks, and Barron's played much better since they lost that game.
That's right.
So I thought they've kind of fed off each other maybe out of that game. And I think you called this last week going to Glasgow first. I think you called this last week. There was a good chance they could win every one of their games to close out the season. Now they do have Cumberland County on Thursday, which will be a tough one, but they're trying to make it real for you.
Well, Glasgow's won 4 straight.
Yeah,
and you got to give the players a lot of credit and the coaching staff a lot of credit. They are now 11-11.
Yeah,
and so they have come a long way.
Uh-huh.
And Glasgow is 2-4 in the district, which ends up the tiebreaker gives them the third place. That's why they're playing Barren, and it's going to be Allen Warren East. But just give Glasgow a lot of credit. Won 4 straight. Their last loss was, I think, the game against Allen, which is only 4-2. Last week they defeated Warren East, blew them out 9-2. Where Jacali Green had 3 RBIs, had 2 hits, and had a home run. Kerrigan Hagan got the win, and she had 3 RBIs at the plate too. So just it's one thing to be squeaking by some of these games.
Yeah.
They blew out Warren East. Defeated Edmondson 8-6, in which I think earlier in the year they may have lost to them.
I believe so.
Okay, and then they defeated Monroe on last Thursday or Friday 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
So they've won, like I said, four straight, and they've got some very winnable games this week too. With the exception of Cumberland County, which they'll be an underdog in that game.
Yeah, because they're at Hart County today, and then they're playing Warren Central tomorrow. They were originally supposed to play Franklin Simpson tomorrow, but now they're playing Warren Central and then the Cumberland on Thursday. And they also have a Friday game, and I don't remember who that's against. But, they have a busy week to close out before the district starts next weekend. And maybe Coach Murphy just kind of looked at it and said, hey, I just want to make sure we're in a rhythm of playing.
I would. I mean, you don't want to sit out a lot in baseball or softball.
Yeah.
Baseball, you just got to worry about getting your pitching lined up. You don't have to worry about that near as much in softball, but you do want your hitters to stay in a rhythm and your defense to continue to play and have to make plays and, bunts and coverage and things like that. Barren, on the other hand, is 12-7, and they're playing well. They defeated Franklin on Monday, 8-0, one-hitter. Shea Oak had 2 one-hitters last week.
Yeah.
She had a one-hitter against Franklin on Monday. Then they defeated Warren East 5-1. Boak had a 3-hitter, struck out 8. Nora Shirley had 2 RBIs in that game, so that solidified Barren in second.
Yep.
They lost to Cumberland 3-2. They both played each other twice. They both went in 8 innings, and the final score was 3-2.
Yeah.
And people may go, if you don't know anything about Cumberland, you're just assuming Cumberland is, Cumberland.
Yeah.
But Cumberland's 30-3 and All-A champions. So they got a really, really good team. And Barren lost by 1 in extra innings, and Nora Shirley had a home run in that game.
Yeah.
And then to come back and they beat Southwestern, which is out in Pulaski County. Now Southwestern is like 19-6.
Yeah.
and they blew them out 11-1, one hitter by Shea Bogue. So
–
Shea had from a pitching perspective, she's been great all year, very consistent. But she had 2 1-hitters and a 3-hitter. That's pretty good. And lost to a 31-3 team, 3-2.
Yeah.
So Barren is playing well, and Glasgow's playing well. It's almost a shame they're playing each other.
Yeah, right now.
Next week, but anyway, both teams are kind of playing pretty good right now.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is kind of a shame they end up playing each other in the first round of the district because Allen has been the best team in the district through the course of the season, but they may not be the best team right now.
Well, I think they're probably the best team, but not by large margins like the Allen when they were winning a state championship.
Yeah, right.
Back in the late 90s and middle of 2000s, when they were state champions, they would beat you. You wouldn't score on them for the most part. So Allen's a good team. Allen's probably third or fourth in the region. Mm-hmm. I think it's still probably it's definitely South Warren and probably Greenwood, Allen, in that boat. But there's a lot of teams kind of close together. Yeah, that are pretty decent. A lot of similar. You take out South Warren and the region's wide open.
That is the case. This would be, if South Warren wasn't the team it is this year, this would be one of the more competitive years in the region.
It would be the widest open region I could ever remember.
Yeah.
The Fourth has always had, of course, the Fourth's had state champions from Greenwood, from Allen.
Yeah.
Warren East has been state runner-up and things like that. There's always been a dominant team, whether it's the Allen counties, it's the Greenwoods, the Warren East made a big run.
Yeah. South Warren the last few years.
South Warren the last few years. They've always had that dominant team, and this is another year. But this is as about a dominant team as we'll ever see.
Yeah, I was looking back. I hadn't checked
the Greenwood
on them.
team several years ago was big
time
dominant.
They were too. They did everything.
Right.
The Penny Reese team, maybe the last or second to last team she had there.
I don't remember them having 6 Division I players.
No,
I don't think so. I mean, they did have Division I players. I don't remember this many.
Yeah, it's but back to what we were talking about, like if South Warren was not in this region, it would be a very interesting region.
It really would.
Because Cumberland County is uncommonly good for them.
They're a top 4 team too. I forgot to add them. Yeah, they're up there with Greenwood and right. I question a little bit their competition because their district is weak.
Yeah,
but they've ventured out and played some good teams.
Yeah, and the thing about that Cumberland County team is this is a group of girls that are coming through that school right now. They're good at everything they do.
Are.
That's right. It's an interesting run for them really on the girls side of sports if you've been following the Fourth Region for any amount of time.
Right.
But back to this district setup. So, the last time, Allen and Warren East will play each other in the first round. Glasgow Barren will play each other in the first round. The last time Warren East and Allen played, Warren East won the game. And so now I think Brooklyn Oliver did not pitch for Allen County in that game. She is their best pitcher.
Yes.
And she or Shea are the 2 best pitchers in the district. I mean, I'd put them kind of there together, although Oliver's probably been –
Kerrigan Hagen's pitching great right now, too.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, right now we have 3 pitchers in this district who, if you took South Warren out of the equation, they might be the 3 best pitchers in the region. And
Glasgow has Ava Maxey, who's pitched good, too, as 8th grader. So, yeah, it's do I think East to beat Allen? I don't.
Yeah.
Is it conceivable? Yes.
Yeah.
But the Barren Glasgow game should be a dandy.
Yeah. How do you think? What do you think the key is to that game?
Well, Barron's going to have to score more than they scored the last game. It's 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally,
anything more than 0.
Normally in those games, it's not who wins per se. It's who makes more mistakes. It's errors and those type of deals. It's that when teams are very evenly matched, neither pitcher, even how good Bogue is and how good Hagen's been pitching, they're not striking out 14, 15. So the ball's in play. Right. And, you've got to put pressure on the defense. Not hitting little dribblers, but actually hit some balls hard and things like that. it's interesting. Barren has more experience than Glasgow.
Yeah.
Glasgow's young, though most of the players that are playing for Glasgow played last year in a district too.
Yeah.
So it's not like they've never been a part of it.
Yeah, that was an 8-7, 8-inning game.
That's
or
right.
9-inning
That's
game,
exactly
I think it was.
Right.
So
we'll see. You know, it's one of those that can go any way and so forth. And the two games that have been played so far kind of prove that.
As a person who covers the sports, my thing has always been I just want to see good games when they play each other, not close games, good games. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what happens when they play each other in these situations is you might have a close game, but it's not exactly a good game.
Right, you're talking about errors, mistakes, walks.
Somebody wins mostly because somebody else messed up more so than what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the way these two are playing right now, if they carry that in that first round district game, we could see a close, good game.
Yeah, you could. That's exactly right. Can I give a shout out?
Yes.
Caverna.
Yes.
Caverna softball.
Yes.
To our friend Coach DeStefano.
Yes.
To go from the last couple of years when he took over, 2 years ago, where they win none or one?
Yeah, I think they won one game.
Yeah, and this year they're 12-14. And had won 3 straight until they lost 7-6 in extra innings to Hart County.
Yes.
Who's got a decent team.
Yes, they do.
And just want to give out a shout to Coach D and Caverna because, are they one of the best teams in the state? No. But they put the time into it, and he's worked it and been patient and got kids to come out. And just kind of happy, to kind of see some success when you put some time into it and so forth. And especially when people think, what are you doing? Why are you coaching over? And, and he's done a really good job.
I think that 12 wins is the most wins in program history, which I thought. Now, I haven't verified this. I was told this, and I thought maybe they had more wins about 2006 when Kenitra Ford was playing because she was really good as a pitcher, but I didn't really go back and look. But it wouldn't be surprising if it is because of what you were just talking about. It's not just that he took over a program that only won one game. They just historically have not been very good at softball. No. They haven't had numbers.
Yeah, and I don't think they're not going to be stuck on 12. He's got some very winnable games this week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised they end up 14 wins or 15.
Yeah. I don't know if they can go win a district game. I think they play Greene County in the first round, but I wouldn't say they're incapable.
I think it's LaRue.
Oh, is it LaRue?
Yeah, Greene is.
That's right.
Greene's 8-20.
Yeah, that's right. LaRue's the 1 seed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, that was a little tougher task.
Right.
But if you go in playing with confidence, as long as Salvador is pitching the way she has been most of the season, is
obviously important here. Anything you do.
Yeah, true. You're right about that, John. With that piece of advice, this is the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. John, we often talk about some of your favorite things on here, the Masters, Kentucky Derby. I'd say the draft, NFL draft. But one of the things that probably that is not a one-off event, but is just a fun thing if you're into the sport is college softball playoffs, but especially the college softball World Series and the baseball playoffs as well, just because they're just different than just about every other sport we deal with in terms of maybe the money hasn't ruined it yet kind of situation.
Yeah, it's getting there.
They're trying, but hey,
they'll eventually succeed.
They will, but maybe things go sideways before then, and they fail because they just didn't get there in time.
Right.
But speaking of that, though, look. The guy at Texas Tech tried to buy his way for a national title in women's softball.
They got to the finals.
They did, but hey, they're the 11 seed this year, so it hadn't quite gone as well as all that money he put into it. Now they could still make it and win the World Series. I don't know, but the season itself hasn't really brought home the rewards for the investment that he put into it. I would say.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. They're. Still up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, the college, it's the regionals that start.
Yeah, it starts Friday.
So there's 4 teams in each region, and the winner of each of the 16 regions, there's 16 regions of 4, so there's 64 teams.
Yeah.
The winners of each region then moves to super regionals the next weekend, which is 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it goes. There are 6 of the top 8 teams.
Yep.
Are from the SEC.
Yeah.
They got 6 out of the top 8.
They've cornered the market in women's softball, and also they brought in the 2 programs that they couldn't beat, Texas and Oklahoma, to the SEC a couple of years ago. So that puts them there.
Well, Texas is the defending champion. Oklahoma's won 3 out of the last 4, I believe.
Yeah.
But because of the new rule that was implemented, the SEC only got 12 of the 15 teams in it. Kentucky, Missouri, and I believe it was Auburn maybe. Kentucky, Missouri, maybe Auburn did not qualify.
Right.
Because you got to have a winning record now to qualify.
Oh, well, that's good.
So they got 12 out of the 15 teams. Vanderbilt, surprisingly, still does not have a team. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
They do not have a women's softball team.
That didn't register with me.
Yep, they do not.
That's fascinating. They're putting all the money into the football program at this point.
So there's 16 host schools that get to host the region. However, you can also divide it into the top 8 because the top 8, if they all win out, gets to host the super regional, and that's when we said 6 out of the top 8 are SEC teams. The only exception is Nebraska and UCLA.
Yeah,
that broke into that.
I hadn't honestly paid attention to the seeding part of it, and I mean I knew that the SEC was they've really put themselves as the dominant softball conference in the nation. It used to be the Pac-12, going back many years ago, or at least the top end of the Pac-12.
Right.
Once that fell apart, now
UCLA and Oregon are 2 of the better teams, and they're just down to Big Ten.
Yeah, right. So,
but anyway, I look forward to it. It starts Friday. Alabama is the number 1 overall seed. A little surprising because they lost to Texas in the SEC final.
Yeah.
In Lexington, by the way, and Texas got the 2 seed. I thought maybe that would be enough to flip-flop it. I don't think it really matters all that much, but the good news for the local school, Louisville, had arguably their best year ever in softball. They won over 40-something games, and they're a 2 seed in the Nebraska regional.
Yeah.
So they're in there with Nebraska, who's really, 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 really good. Nebraska, I think, is number 3 or 4 overall in the country. So Louisville's got a tall task to come out of that one. But anyway, it's a big year for Louisville in softball.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, one, that Alabama was the number 1 overall seed because Texas, I mean, they beat them 7-1 in the championship game.
Yep. They split during the year.
Yeah.
Alabama's got more wins against top 10 teams or whatever than Texas. So, they both play in the same conference, so they're kind of both playing the same teams.
Yeah, and the number 3 seed, of course, is Nebraska, and then
no, 3 is Oklahoma.
Nebraska's
4.
Yeah, number 4 is Nebraska. Yeah, 3 is Oklahoma. So the top 3 are all SEC. And I really didn't. I guess I haven't really paid attention. I guess Nebraska's kind of been coming along.
They had a pitcher. They got a player that transferred from Oklahoma. That she was the starting pitcher her freshman year at Oklahoma, and they won a national title. Her name is Jordy. I forgot her last name. She transferred back to her home state in Nebraska. She's been there 2 years, and she transferred to come back closer to her home state, but also she wanted to play.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to pitch. And she's one of the dominant pitchers in the country, but she's also hit over 20-some home runs, hits like 400 she leads all for them. So she's a tremendous player.
So at Oklahoma, they didn't need her in the order.
She did not play other than just pitch. That's right.
And so Nebraska, they're like, yes, because we need you to.
And it's her home state.
Yeah.
She went back home. Yep.
So I think what team out of maybe the top 16 seeds there or top 8 seeds would you be surprised if they actually won it?
Be surprised?
Yeah.
None of them. But be surprised.
How about out of the top 16?
I don't think LSU's going to win it.
Yeah.
They're the 16th or 15th. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to win it. I mean, I don't think Florida's going to win it because their pitching's not very good. It's not as good as some of the other ones. Right. I wouldn't be shocked if Nebraska wins it, to be honest with you. I think that probably the top 4 is probably where it's going to come out of. Georgia's got a really good team. I watched several of Georgia's games up in Lexington, and they knocked out Oklahoma before they got beat on a walk-off at the end against Texas. They're dangerous too. But, college softball is interesting to watch. It's got a good pace, though it's slower than it used to because of all the reviews and pitching, walking out and talk to the pitcher and all that other stuff slowed the game down. But still, it's a fun game to watch. WKU, by the way, they won 39 games, second most, I think, in program history. But ended up losing to Jacksonville State in the semifinals. So, it's a little disappointing. I think Liberty won it. They played Jacksonville State in the finals. I watched a couple of their games on ESPN Plus. Katie Murphy played well in that tournament. Yeah, she was really good defensively at third. I know got a couple of hits too, and they had a really good year. But 39 wins is not going to. Evidently, it's not good enough to get you in because they didn't get in.
Yeah, a little bit surprising because they had kind of built a reputation as a solid enough program that they would make that cut even without winning the conference.
Strength schedule, I guess, just not enough.
Yeah.
Quality wins against quality opponents, I guess.
Yeah, and speaking of Katie, I mean, she drove in a run with a bunt in that game.
She showed how good she was in high school because she could always handle the bat, bunt, run, and so forth.
Yeah, you don't generally drive in runs with a bunt,
right.
without sacrifice.
It was a squeeze play. They had a lot of confidence. The runner was raking for third. She had to get it down. Yeah, she got it down. Also beat it out at first. Yep.
Yeah. So she had at the plate, her career was. I mean, her season was good. Yep. Obviously, she's not really. Her role as a hitter is different at WKU.
That's right.
But defensively is really why she's out there. I mean, because she's
started 2 years. Had her very, very proud of her, doing a really good job. Yeah, she's got 2 more years too.
Yeah. And I guess are you also gearing up for the college baseball postseason?
Not really. Louisville's had a down year. Their last series is against Miami this weekend. I'll probably get up and watch one of those. And they have to win the ACC tournament. I mean, they've got the best offense, one of the best offenses in the country. They've got a first baseman. His name's Tay Davis. It's set a record. I mean, he's got 34 home runs and close to 100 RBIs. He's already set a record. But the pitching just very, very poor this year. Not enough.
Yeah, if you were a fan of any Mississippi schools, you'd be looking forward to the postseason. We're doing all right down there.
I knew Mississippi State was. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They may be number 8 in the last baseball poll. I think Southern Miss was number 9, and Ole Miss was around 20 or so.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a pretty good year for the Mississippi schools.
I think Kentucky should get in.
Yeah.
Should. They're a little bit on the bubble, but I think they should get in.
Yeah, it's this year has been down for both of them, I guess, comparatively speaking, because they've been pretty solid for Louisville and Kentucky.
Well, Louisville's in the Final Four last year.
Yeah, so I mean it's kind of an off year for both of them in terms of how quality they have been in recent years. Anything else in this college sports world that you can think of?
Nope. That's all I can come up with.
All right. This is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
John, we do have lots of sports-related things going on. Going on that are not baseball or softball.
Got a
little tennis. Addison McFall played in the girls' Region 4 singles championship on Friday. She ended up losing there. I think it was 6-love, 6-1. But she made it there. She played really well throughout the tournament. I mean, she won all of her matches pretty handily till she got to that final. And I was trying to think. I think she's the first girls player from Barren or Glasgow to get to that to the finals of the region in singles. Now, we've had boys who have either won or gotten to the finals historically, from one of those two schools. But I was trying to dig back through, and she's the only girl that I could find that had ever made it to that finals. And she does qualify for the state tournament, which I think is coming up next weekend, maybe this weekend in Lexington. And this week they're playing the team tournaments, which is something they introduced a few years ago. Used to, your doubles and singles would play, and then you would have a point acquisition,
right.
and at the end you'd name a team tournament winner. Metcalfe County won team titles a few times as the accumulation of their players were good in girls and boys through the years, but I don't think either one of Glasgow or Barren have done that before. So, yeah, she had a good run there, and congratulations to her. She's been kind of coming along, and I thought last year she might have a chance to make that run. She had dropped a match, I think, like a heartbreaker, maybe in the quarterfinals, and so she kind of maybe got upset. And to be honest with you, Bowling Green, South Warren have just dominated on the tennis side. And Greenwood, going back. Yeah, used to it was Bowling Green and Greenwood, as in every other sport, and now it's South Warren and Bowling Green in the tennis side, and maybe Greenwood as well. So, I mean, it's hard to get even as far as she did.
Yep, that's good. She's had a good year in basketball, too.
Yeah, outstanding athlete she is. And then
track and field's going.
Yep. Today we have the Class 3A Region 2 track meet. It's at Bowling Green High School. Barren County competes in that particular event. And Grayson Billingsley and Riley Wilson. Grayson Billingsley in the boys' discus, and then Riley Wilson in the girls' discus and shot put. Now, they are both number 1, respectively, in the discus, and I think Riley might be number 3 coming in the shot put in that event. And then Dalen Thomas, I think, is like number 4 coming in on the boys' shot put side. So, but Billingsley and Wilson, they've had really good runs in high school track and field in those throwing events. And Saturday is when Glasgow's athletes will compete in their meet. It's the Class 1A Region 2 meet, and I'm trying to think. I believe it's at Campbellsville this year. So maybe a lot of times it's at Greene County, but it's at Campbellsville this year. And, of course, Jarek Martin, he's a defending state champion in the long jump and 1A. They've got several other people. I think they've got
some relays.
4x1 girls and boys, and I think 4x2 boys maybe the 4x2 girls as well are there. So, yeah, they've got several people who could make a splash in that region and really could maybe make a splash in the state as well this year. So there's that. Here's one for you that we don't catch very often. Cole Winchester and Maddox Griggs finished 9th at the state bass fishing tournament over the weekend.
I saw that. That's right.
Yeah. Maddox, of course, also plays basketball. I don't really know Cole very much, so – yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's a new sport. Speaking of new sports,
yes,
the KHSAA has just added. They've added flag football for girls starting in 2028.
Yeah,
and they added the old pickleball.
Yes, so.
So which I thought was a little strange. I think it's 27 pickleball.
Yeah,
which probably will hurt tennis.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. There probably will be people who would prefer to play pickleball rather than tennis.
Right.
Now, what do you think about the girls' flag football?
I think it'd be popular.
I do too.
Of course, it's going in the spring, so you got softball and some other things. But I think for the most part, I think it'll be pretty popular.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the last couple of years in the Jefferson County Public Schools, they've had their flag football tournaments for girls' flag football.
It just comes to a point in time I just know from a school perspective, trying to fund all the sports and have coaches and things like that, there does become a point in time where, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but there's a lot of stuff.
It is, but going back to that coach thing, I used to joke with Laura Garrett that she was the secondary sports coach of the year over at Glasgow because she seemed to coach. I mean, she did the swimming, she did soccer, she did tennis, and was involved in so many other sports. And that was kind of the thing. I joked with her about that because the point was they couldn't find people to do it. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen, if you have somebody who is involved with a program like that, that keeps the program going. But if they just stop doing it or they retire, as she did, then sometimes it's kind of hard to find people, not just to do it, but it's not just to they may be willing to coach the sport, but going back to what you're talking about with the organizing of the sport, getting schedules done, setting up practices, and
there's a lot to it.
Yeah, and so I'm happy to see the girls flag football because I think it'll be a lot of fun as a sport. But at the same time, it is a challenge. I don't know what the max number of sports a school could have now. I would guess it's somewhere in the 20s, maybe 24. So if they sponsored every sport, I mean that's and it's not just that you might be able to find somebody to coach it because they got a kid coming through, but what's the longevity of the sport?
Right.
How can you keep finding people who are capable of doing it? And when I say capable, I don't just mean the actual teaching of the sport and the organizing of the sport, but people you want coaching your children.
Right. That's a good point.
So these
after a while, when it's, can you be – at what point are you so spread out you're not real good at anything?
Yeah, that's right.
That's always, I always worry about that.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many the pool of how many can really play athletically is kind of limited sometimes.
Yeah. We never really talk about the esports thing, which is a thing that allows people who maybe are not athletically inclined in terms of like physically athletically inclined for whatever reason, a thing that they can do, which I like that too. And I do like the unified track stuff that they do now that allows some kids who wouldn't be regular track members to get out there and get some support from people. And I like the relationship it builds between the kids who are everyday athletes and those guys.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah,
I mean, so I fully support all that stuff, but I do think from an organizational standpoint,
some issues.
Yeah, that you can run into. And, I'm excited for them. At the same time, I do think about the organizational side of things. But anyway, good luck to these people at these track meets coming up today and then on Saturday. And like I said, congratulations to Addison McFall on her run there at the regional tennis tournament. And Cole Winchester and Maddox Griggs, I've never covered a bass fishing tournament. My first job as a sports editor in Mississippi, we had a guy who would come in and he'd bring in the fishing report. And they'd have these competitions, and he had to teach me all about all the bass fishing terminology because I had no clue. And I'm like, he would come in, you'd have words like lunker in there. I was like, what a lunker? what kind of thing is that? So yeah, it's kind of a neat. It has its own little vocabulary, as every sport does. But it's if you're into it, you know all about that stuff.
That's right.
But if you're a guy like me who didn't really go fishing, somebody tells you what a lunker is, you're like, okay, that sounds like the thing you don't want, but apparently it's the thing you do want.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a great term.
No. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's in Glasgow. We'll be back next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.